K-pop Demon Hunters movie review. Every so often there comes a movie that takes the world by storm and becomes a massive success. For the year 2025, K-pop Demon Hunters was that movie. I saw people talk about it on YouTube, and my curiosity enticed me to want to see it for myself, as it usually often does. The film was released on Netflix just a few months ago. It had little to no fanfare and went on to become the biggest movie Netflix had ever released. Aside from all the songs being amazing, for the record, I haven't loved a movie's soundtrack this much since The Greatest Showman. I think what really makes this film shine among the competition is the three co-protagonists, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Despite them being both major superstars and undercover demon-slaying superheroes, the film goes the extra mile of making them seem relatable. Honestly, there's a lot to talk about why this film works so well, so let's just go into my bullet points. The music. As I said before, the songs are phenomenal. Songs like Golden, What It Sounds Like, How It's Done, and Your Idol are my favorites. They are both catchy and insanely well written, and this is coming from someone who doesn't typically listen to K-pop music. I don't usually listen to BTS, Blackpink, or whatever other bands are currently popular, but I love these songs so much I might want to check them out to see if they're just as good. The world building. Why our three co-protagonists are a K-pop group that are undercover demon slayers is because every generation or so there have been a group of hunters, a group of people organized to hunt demons and stop them from stealing souls, whilst also maintaining the Honmun, a shield generated by the hunter's music that protects people from demons and Gima, the Demon King. After years of failing to defeat the hunters, Gima and the demons adopted a different strategy by using a demon boy band, the Saja Boys, to draw away the fans of the girls' band, Huntrix. The characters. Like I said before, despite Rumi, Mira, and Zoe being major pop stars, they go the extra mile, making them relatable. Rumi turns out to be half demon and was taught to keep that under wraps her whole life, making her feel as though she was a mistake. Mira struggled to fit in with her own family, mostly because of her blunt demeanor, and admittedly, she's kind of my favorite of the three. Her characteristics remind me a lot of me, especially like she says the same things with like the same delivery, like that same kind of monotone delivery, which I've had people tell me about in my whole life that I have a bit of a monotone voice, so there's that. And Zoe is always secretly worried about being too much. Also, out of all the three, she's the only one that's been raised in America. I think she was in like LA or Burbank. I know I talked about this before in my theories I have and theories I like video, but it's just too good for me not to pass up. It's bad enough that Celine taught Rumi to cover up her demonness and make her feel as though she was a mistake. But I believe that Celine may have also killed her parents. If you watched the movie and you know how Celine is as a character, I really don't think it's that far-fetched. Considering how much of a terrible mentor she was to Rumi and how she basically joins the lines of Master Shifu from Kung Fu Panda 1 and Abuela from Encanto, from like the trio of terrible mentors. So this is just a recap of my theory. I basically just copied and pasted it. So here goes. If you saw the movie, we know that Rumi lost her mother when she was very little, and fellow bandmate Celine and took her as strangers as if she was her own daughter. We learned that Rumi is a half-demon and her father was a demon as well. If you're wondering how her mother fell in love with a demon, we've seen that demons in this universe have the ability to make themselves look more human-like, thanks to Genu, the Saja Boys, and that one flight attendant lady. but they can't hide the purple patterns depicted on their bodies, which is an immediate sign that someone is a demon in disguise. Celine also taught Rumi to hide her patterns and make sure that no one else knows about this side of her. If you're also wondering why would Celine kill Rumi's parents, wasn't she very close with the mother? If you consider how Celine was as a character, it doesn't seem that far-fetched to me. Maybe this is the plot of K-pop Demon Hunters 2, maybe not, I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. But maybe it started when Rumi's mother, back when his Sunlight Sisters were the hunters, fell in love with a stranger on the road. It seemed harmless and the others were happy for her at first. But then she started missing sound checks and rehearsals. She became less and less interested in music. And that's when they noticed the patterns. She also started getting these ideas from Rumi's father, such as, why do we have to go to all the trouble of hunting demons? Isn't eternal servitude to Gima enough of a punishment? And she also began showing mercy to the same demons. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when Rumi's mother decided to leave the band and being a hunter shortly after Rumi was born. Celine ran after them, and this is where the confrontations finally came to a head. Celine was all like, have you forgotten who we are, what we stand for? We are supposed to hunt demons, not breed with them, yada yada. And then Rumi's mother retaliated by saying, maybe not every demon deserves to be slain. And I did not fall in love with a demon, I fell in love with the tortured man inside. And they continued on their way. Celine drew out her magic sword, or whatever it's called, initially intending to only kill the father. And so she charged, but in a split second, the mom jumped in front of the blade, and in one swing, she killed them both. She wasn't able to realize until it was too late, and her lifeless body fell to the ground. After mourning the loss of her friend, Celine turned to Rumi, still swaddled up in the remains of her father. And so she decided to raise him as her own. This could also be a further explanation why Celine taught Rumi to hide her patterns and to never let anyone know about this side of her. Basically, I think Celine raised Rumi out of guilt while also fearing what would happen if she learned the truth. And upon hearing all of this, Rumi is justifiably upset and enraged. This could also be part of their new plans the demon's new plan to drive them apart, since the Saja Boys thing didn't work. Almost did. So she is so distraught that while her friends are trying to hold her back, she draws out the magic sword, the spirit sword, and there's like a scene where you think she's going to strike Celine down, but instead she throws her sword down onto the ground and says, get yourself another hunter, because I'm done doing your dirty work. Celine tries to run after her, but the other girls stop her, and they too throw their weapons down on the ground in support of Rumi. Mira with her sword staff, and Zoe with her daggers. And out of all the three, Zoe is the only one that looks back at Celine. And so after this, the hunters are on a hiatus. They have not released any songs. They have not even performed. They have barely even interacted with their social media feeds. And so to try to cheer her up, the other girls are like, we can still be huntrix even if we're not hunters. We can change the name of the band. So Zoe has this idea to be like, what if we take the first initials out of all our names? We'll be RMZ, or maybe MRZ, ZMR. And then Rumi leaves her room. She hasn't left her room in weeks after this. She's like, you didn't have to give it up, you know. You didn't have to walk out with me. You could have just stayed the huntrix without me. You could just say that we had an argument or I wanted to go solo or something. And I doubt Celine would mind, and her voice breaks when she says that. So as she makes her way back to her room, the other girls grab her and hug her, and they're like, and Mira's like, don't you dare talk like that. And then Zoe says, "We wouldn't even be Huntrix without you. We love you, Rumi. You're a girl," Mira says. "Patterns or no patterns, Zoe, demon or no demon, Mira, you will still be our friend." And this one makes Rumi cry even more, but this time it's tears of joy. And so Celine, who is also distraught, ends up being sucked down into the demon world. And this is where she's possessed by Gima. I don't know if demons in this universe have the ability to possess people or not. That would be like a good plot point. And so Gima is all like, "I've waited long enough. No more hiding. No more waiting. No more scheming. No more starving. If the hunters prefer war, we'll give it to them." So he has like this rage scream ability that because the home moon is weakened from them not performing, it makes them cross over to the home moon without an issue, and the home moon is gone again. So again, this is not the official sequel plot. This is all just my original theories. Maybe it'll be the official plot. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. The animation. This movie once again uses a Spider-Verse-esque blend of 2D and 3D animation. It works here and it's quite good, admittedly, but I can't help wonder how many times we can see the Spider-Verse animation style before we don't consider it special anymore. Aside from Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, it was used in TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish, and now this movie. Could this style of animation just become the next CGI and everyone's doing it now and it doesn't become anything unique? I sure hope not. But it's just a theory. Conclusion. This was not a reboot, a sequel, or any way based on existing property, but it still went on to take the world by storm. Really gives me hope. I've been so burned out with Hollywood lately. I always say, you heard the phrase sex sells, nowadays it's nostalgia sells. But maybe after the way this movie has been received, there's still a chance for original works in the now nostalgia-minded market.